The time is nigh. Open up your eyes to see the signs of the times. Got to be wise to all of their lives. Look to the skies from where my help comes. Wake up, got to wake up from the slumber. Don't let them pull you under. Rise up above the water. Never let them wrestle you into the mud.
Yes, greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Reserve Menin. Y'all already know, one perfect balance. Greetings and welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct, and if we're not correct, feel free to correct us. As always, yeah, we coming in kind of hot on the end of the evening. You know, people then probably gone home already, packing up the goods. But we out here, we put some little cool in the room, turn on the AC, chill the place, make it nice. It ain't coming on yet. It might be a hot night then. So we got a question we want to answer tonight. You know, what are your thoughts, Barbados budget replay? I don't even know if y'all ready for this tonight, because again, if y'all been paying attention lately, you would see that we've been touching on some real sensitive matters, and some folks may or may not agree. Nevertheless, we're going to share our thoughts and perspectives. And you could tell us yours. You know, they got the comments and you got the actual live right now. So feel free to come on in. You want to come in the studio, let it be known. You want to call in. In fact, hang on. The number is on the screen. The information you need to reach us if you have a desire to share your thoughts with us. In fact, let me go ahead and put the phone into the system so that if you do call, that is a big if, I can plug you right in. There you go. Yes, family. So this budget thing is up. I mean, if you, I'm almost tempted to play this, you know, like I'm really, really tempted. Let me see. I might still do it. You know, you never know. Let me put that right there. So you never know. In case of emergency break glass, you know, that kind of thing. There you go. Politically incorrect. I got it. I see it. Got eyes on the program. There you go. So I'm watching it now too. All right, family. Thanks for tuning in. King Alfred, I see you, family. I see you, man. I see you. Greetings to you too, and all the viewers, those who are here for the first time, those who are logged on, those who are watching it on the replay. Man, the live is where it's at. Don't miss it. Yes, the budget replay was long. It took 2 days. Yeah, well, I have a note here on that. That was called the setup. That's actually called the setup. Well, I'll get to that a little later, where they set the brother up. You know, they basically set him up. But again, we'll get to that. In the interim, there are a few things I want to share with you, and obviously a few video clips from the same budget and some other stuff. So I want to get into it because when will we learn is the question. When will we learn? When will we learn? So keep in mind that Parliament, this place they call the House of Assembly, you know, the house where they assemble, you know, House of Assembly. Let's keep that in mind. Who's the they? And keep in mind that it's in the house. You were never in the house. You were outside the house. In fact, to be more accurate, you were in the field. So that's the idea. We didn't have enough space in that place. It was an outside or inside thing. And quite frankly, you already know how that was going down. So I want to get into this tonight for a number of reasons, because like I said, I realize that just listening to it in passing, you're hearing little things. There's some things that stood out and some things that was like, so I want to touch on a few of these standout things that they talked about. And Miss Motley, I have a correction for you. It's a major correction. In fact, it's a $3.6 billion mistake you made. Yes, a $3.6 billion mistake. Yeah, I think I need to highlight that. I'm good at a few things, not a lot, but a few things, and We're going to see if I'm accurate tonight. If I'm not correct, family, feel free to correct me. But Miss Motley, somebody advising you wrong. And that's why it's good to do your own research sometimes, man. I'm just saying. But like you said, it's hard and difficult to keep track of everything going on as the prime minister, aka the prime servant, regarding the other servants. Not all servants in the house, want to be in the house. Some of them just playing a role and trying to get what they can, but give thanks to those who are on the ground. So let me go get right into this right now, real quick. I mean, of course, y'all know Mr. Thorne is already one speaking as well in this situation regarding the house. So this budget. Let me start with this one, man. I'm gonna just start with this one off the top. I'm just gonna dive right into it. Like, y'all ain't gonna believe this, man. I'm telling you. Let me go into this one, man. Let me start this. Let me go and share the screen one time. Share that. Pull this up on the screen, family. So y'all already know that, Mr. Thorne would have had a lot to say and share about this. And, a lot of folks would look at this as, a major thing. He went there and he had a lot to say. In fact, he spoke for roughly around, I think, like 10 hours or so, according to what was said. That's a long time. And according to the rules in Parliament, the opposition leader is allotted the amount of time equivalent to that of the individual bringing forward the budget, according to the House rules. I think that's the problem, though. There's way too many rules in the House. Way too many rules. That House got all kind of rules. You can't call names, this, that, 34th. So the language they speak to each other and the interactions at that level, the average person listening is basically caught up in a theatrical event. I mean, for the most part, the average man in Barbados does not know the rules of the House. Don't have a clue. So when they're speaking, the honorable minister from South, whatever, Central and East, this, whatever, Central and North, whatever. The average person in Barbados cannot name these particular constituencies. They might know their own, maybe one or two others, maybe the minister in a ministry, but I don't know if anybody's memorized. If it's just me, let me know. I don't think people are walking around with the idea that they need to memorize the location of these ministers regarding their constituencies. I don't know. So when they mention the honorable minister for so and so and so and so, unless the people take the time to go and look and see, then they don't know. And so that's what I'm talking about, man. Something. Anyhow, so this is the conversation they be having. I think it's a conversation we too should be having, because a lot is said and a lot is misdirected. And like I said, we're going to correct a few of the ministers tonight because a few of them made some mistakes. In fact, this is how you know that this thing can't be real. It can't be real because they say, and nobody pulled their court and say, hold on, that's not correct. Like I said, even Miss Motley she made a $3.6 billion mistake. And if her presentation was based primarily in part on that, then it means that everything else she said, well, you be the judge of it. I'll tell you in a minute, though, so stick around. Let's start with this one here first, though, family. Let's get right into this right here. I thought this was profound.
Let us move quickly, and we will do this quickly, to the Ministry of Home Affairs. And before I get into the heart of the matter, let us all lament the loss of CBC.
Well, speaking of the loss of CBC, I had a clip for you. Don't forget, the union had to, had some intervention in that, in terms of getting the people from CBC some severance packages. And guess who was the union minister for that? And I kind of gave it away by saying union minister. But can anybody tell me what her name is, man? Let me see who's paying attention. I got to shout the family out. Sean, I see you strolling in. Here, bro. Sean, who is the minister you think negotiated that deal for the staff at CBC? Greetings to you too, Daffodil. Daffodil said, no sound. I am not sure. If you can't hear me at this point, let me know. I am not aware that there's a sound issue, but if you're telling me now there's a sound issue, let me know. let me know. I mean, anybody else, if they're still having issues or, oh, can hear now? Oh, so wait a minute. Okay, so it's you, Daffodil. Okay, just got you. Greetings to you too, Rhonda. Shout out to the whole of Guyana, the whole Guyanese family. Greetings, family. Mr. Combats family. Shout out to you too, respectfully. Peace, family. Okay, got you. Yes, it was none other than Mrs. Tony Moore from St. George North, the same place where they had the Moore plantation. Same place. Same place, man. Greetings to you. I see you here. Greetings to you too, Thelma, and everyone watching. Big shout outs. So Miss Tony Moore was one of the ones that, how is it that that's not a conflict of interest? I mean, that's why I'm telling you, Barbadians, something is not right. This has nothing to do with political parties. Something is wrong with the people of this nation. I'm telling you. I mean, it's like the fox negotiating with the other foxes and the farmer how to guard the hen house. You know, how is it that the minister with the government is going to negotiate a deal from the government and the people that she represents both sides? I can't get that one figured out. She should have, at a matter of integrity, she should have resigned as the head of the union, but she's not going to because, family, even the people in the union don't have a say in that because they should have asked for her immediate removal. The fact that they don't tells you that they too involved in this thing. They're agents. Don't forget, you cannot successfully do the things you do in this administration or any administration without hands and workers. You need agents to facilitate the different levels of fraud and corruption that goes on. So I guarantee you, majority of the people who vote to keep her in that position are part and parcel part of the problem in this country. Check it out. That's why they don't move her, because they benefit from her being right there, and she keeps them in a position where they benefit. So why would we? So the few that might say, man, you know, she shouldn't be doing this, that, and third, they don't get no forward at all. But Mr. Thorne is correct when he said this. I must admit though, Mr. Thorne, and don't get me wrong, this is not a compliment. It's not a compliment because I think that, you know, your time could have been additionally spent wiser addressing some other issues as opposed to some of the things, majority of the things that was brought up. Not that I have a problem you bringing up this stuff though, but like I said, you know, charger for the phone. The average person in Barbados that you claim to represent, the people of Barbados, or what they call the small man. I don't like to use that term because we all equal in the eyes of God, all of us. I think that how we converse with each other is important. How we share information is important. How we communicate that information is equally important without trampling on the idea that we are going to use emotions to rile up the people. But anyhow, you made some valid points. I'm going to touch on a few. We're going to get to the heart of this. But listen to this one here, family.
Into the heart of the matter, let us all lament the loss of CBC. The honorable member for Christchurch East may wish to consider himself the unluckiest man in Barbados if CBC must now terminate under his stewardship. And that is a tragedy. CBC has served this country well. I remember the slogan, reflecting the pride, and it was so profound. CBC really did reflect the pride, and CBC had evolved to a point where people prefer to watch local programs over the imported nonsense. And at a time when there needs to be a new thrust in cultural affirmation, CBC that reflected the pride, CBC that reflected Barbadian culture. At a time when technology is exposing our little children to the most negative aspects of metropolitan life, whether it is China, Japan, the United States, London, or South America, continental South America. The closure of CBC is a great tragedy. And if they're saying it is to move from analog to digitization, the people of Barbados do not believe that.
Not at all.
The people of Barbados believe that the government has now lost interest in an important cultural asset. CBC is more than radio and TV. CBC is an important cultural asset. As the nation on Fontebelle is an important cultural asset. 1973 to the present, however you feel about it, there must be that residual respect for what you call the fourth estate.
Now, I want you all to listen very carefully to what Mr. Thorne is going to say, and you need to write this information down. So grab a pen really quick, a piece of paper, and make a note of it. And I'm going to give you some instructions in a few minutes. Listen to this carefully, family.
That when you cannot turn to the government for the defense of your rights, often it is the media, the press, that you turn to, not only to protest, but to affirm cultural identity, because that is important too. And I say to the through you, sir, to the honorable member for Christchurch East, that the closure of CBC must now be a blot on this country's cultural affairs. I elevate it beyond the political. It is a cultural crisis. It reflects a cultural crisis. And it cannot be a good feeling to have this happen under the stewardship of the honorable member for Christchurch East. But the honorable member for Christchurch East must now be deemed to have been complicit in the crisis of CBC. And I will demonstrate why. On the 19th of June, 2024.
Write that date down, family. The 19th of June, 2024. Look, Mr. Thorne, I'm telling you, this one right here might have slipped onto the radar, but I want to commend you for bringing it back to the surface, because these are the things that really matter, that will spotlight on really and truly what's going on in Barbados. Like I said, it's not a compliment. I'm just saying, like I always say, there's things that we need to deal with and the questions that we have to answer. So this is one of those questions. Write that date down, family.
One of the other cultural assets within this country, the Nation newspaper published an article by its, I think the lady is the editor-in-chief. She's at the apex of that organization. If she writes something, if she intervenes, it must be seen as highly authoritative intervention. And on the 19th of June, 2024, Miss Carol Martindale, I hate to call names.
So there you go. Miss Carol Martindale, you got to write this down, because what he's going to say next is in fact, what is about to happen is epic. You gotta write this down, family. Okay? 19th of June, 2024.
But I don't do this to disparage. In fact, I praise her today for this article. Miss Carol Martindale on the 19th of June, 2024, and I'm willing to make this a document of the House.
He repeats this date so often, it's almost like he's giving you a subliminal message. So write the date down, family. 19th of June, 2024.
Wrote an article, and the article, 19th of June, 2024. Beg your pardon? And that,
I think the Speaker of the House is the problem too, I personally, me personally speaking, but I'm going to address that later. Hold on.
The article was titled, Rethink That Plan, Minister.
Rethink that plan, Minister. Write that down. Write that information down.
And I'm going to read this because it has to be read. The people in this country must understand how this government has been functioning in relation to the dissemination of information. This is a government that came to the people of this country and said that they're interested in protecting reputations with a cybercrime bill.
Yeah, y'all remember that bill? The cybercrime bill is almost quiet now, but y'all remember that bill? Listen, let me go real quick. Are y'all writing this down? Let me know. Show me some kind of sign. If you wrote this information down, put a thumbs up, click the like button, something. Let me know that you tuning in, man, because tonight it's going to be fire. I'm telling you, this ain't that kind of program tonight. This is a whole different conversation. Come on. Let me see some kind of response, something. Write the date down. Let me know you wrote the date down. You wrote the name down, the Nation newspaper. Rethink that idea, Mr. We're going to go back over it. Hold on a second. Greetings to you too, Monica. We see you. We see you in the family. Talking about the Moors. The minister of today is a product of past. Okay. I don't think so. I don't think so, Sean. I think we got that wrong. She's not a product of that at all. That's her family. That's her bloodline. Greetings, Pedro. We see you. Shout out to the matriarch. Moms, greetings to you too. As always, full respect to family up in UK. Y'all already know. Carson, greetings to you. Okay, wait a minute. Carson, Cadogan said, yeah, we know you are the BLP yard fowl. Hell yeah. Look, my number on the screen, bro. If you want to call in, man. You know, I don't have a problem with you and your comments, though, man. What else you got here? Sean said CBC is pure garbage to watch and watch YouTube for. I watch YouTube first. Colin Jones. Remember Owen saying, well, we're gonna get to it in a minute. I see you, Aaron. Greetings to you too, family. Shalom, greetings, night. Good night. I see you too, my brother. One and all. Carlson and Carlson. See, the L make a difference, right? The L is for the love, man. Give thanks, Carlson. Greetings, mighty beings. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Listen to this carefully, though, family. Let me get to it, man.
Up to now, we don't have a cybercrime act. But this government took the moral high ground. Oh, we are interested in protecting people's reputations against the wild behavior that occurs across a rampant social media. It really is a wild place.
You telling me, man, I mean, they calling me a yard fowl for the BLP. You know it's a wild thing, man. People can say what they want to say.
I am appalled at the things people say about each other.
Telling me, man.
I am really appalled. I mean, it is a free-for-all. And the government felt that it should take this lofty and elevated position, this morally justified position in relation to what they call cybercrime. That you can't go on social media and curse people and carry on as if they don't have any rights to a reputation. So this government, the same government that pursued cybercrime legislation, listen to how this government was expressing itself otherwise.
Listen carefully, this family. Listen.
And it caught the attention of Ms. Carol Martindale at the Nation. Rethink that plan, Minister. She writes, I am still bewildered by some of the comments made last week by Minister of Information Wilfred Abrams, who also holds the portfolio of Home Affairs. He was speaking during the Department of Emergency Management's one-day high-level media roundtable discussion and workshop at Courtyard by Marriott in Hastings, Christchurch. To avoid putting words into the minister's mouth, I will let him speak for himself, he said, and I quote.
All right, so he's about to quote the minister in the article in terms of what he said. He's referring to Wilfred Abrams. Now, like I said, you wrote that date down, you wrote the year down, you wrote the nation, you wrote the article, you wrote the person who wrote it, the editor. I want y'all to go to the Nation newspaper. It's about $2. And ask the people who control the archives, unless you have an old paper, to give you a copy of the actual article. And here's why. Here's why you need, listen, you need to go, or at least have somebody go that you know. One person could go, in fact, send a copy and you can disseminate it in case, share it with your friends and family. But I'll tell you why in a minute. Listen to what happens next.
The Met Office has indicated that the time frame for us to be able to alert people is becoming...
Mr. Speaker, I truly would not have wanted to get up on this point of order.
Wait a minute. Somebody stops him. I truly, look, Mr. Dugan is be classic. Listen, you can't make this stuff up. Listen to what he's about to say.
As you know, we have a tradition not to assault honourable members when they are replying in a budget debate. However, the honourable member is clearly quoting from the newspaper. In fact, he named the journalist and the paper. But I want to draw honourable member to the standing order, the standing orders of the House of Assembly, 28.1, which clearly says a member may not read his speech, but he may read extracts from books or papers other than newspapers. And the honourable member is clearly in breach, and I would ask that all of that be struck from the record.
Mr. Dugan is asking for that information that he was about to put out be struck from the record, all of it. Now, what would cause him to do that? What is this information that he was about to put out there to the public that was such damaging that he had to intervene at a point of order in breach, as if this whole thing is in a breach already? But listen to what happens next, family.
And calling names as well, which is against the standard, in breach of the standard as well. Mr. Speaker, I'm at you, but point of order, clearly he is in breach.
Honourable member, you refer the point of order.
I've heard the point of order. And we have heard the voice of seniority.
Comply also.
Beg your pardon, sir?
Comply with the point of order.
Yes, indeed. And I want to commend the honourable member I really thought he should have been Deputy Prime Minister, and he demonstrates that.
Mr. Thorne is so shady, right? Like, he literally took the opportunity to go outside here with that one. And he clearly demonstrates it. But listen to what comes up next, family. You can't make this up, man.
He really does demonstrate that. You heard the voice of authority, sir. You heard the rescue mission. You heard how the Honorable Member for Christchurch West has rescued a hapless colleague today. Well, the public will resolve it. We're in the computer age.
That's right.
And the people in Barbados may now go and read the Nation newspaper of the 17th of June, 2024, and hear what the lady, and I'm not disparaging her, I praise her for the intervention that the would-be Deputy Prime Minister has made here today in protection of his hapless colleague. He was looking very afraid. And you, being a man of compassion, felt his fear, and you got up and rescued him. He owes you.
Honorable Member is not rescuing him, that it has to be compliance with the standing order. So it's not a matter of rescuing. And I am sure that you haven't been in here for a considerable amount of time, as all other honorable members, that you know full well what these standing orders speaks to.
Yes.
And please try to comply with those orders that you know.
Yes.
That you know that you have researched and that you are a thorough reader.
Yes.
Nothing escapes your reading.
You know, I abide by the ruling and will say only that it is ironic that the minister who presides over the Department of Emergency Management has been the beneficiary of a rescue by the would-be Deputy Prime Minister. Today, he owes you more than he will ever be able to repay.
Listen, man, he owes you more than he will ever be able to repay. Listen, family, tomorrow self, because they can pull it for the record, but what the nation can't do is not give you a copy of that. Like, they don't have a choice. Find yourself at the Nation newspaper. You can call in. You could either get it emailed to you in PDF form. You can collect it in a physical copy. And I think there's another way, I don't remember. But anyhow, go and get that article and discover what it is they try to hide from you. Because this is crazy. This is crazy. But anyhow, the reason I brought that to the forefront was because I realized that even in all this whole thing, you know, like I said, the budget and the reply, and the young man, Mr. Ryan Strawn, who basically is a teleprompter economist. He just basically was given something that he read. He reread it a few times, prepped himself basically, and came out and performed. It's like a script in Hollywood. He was basically given a script, and he came and basically, you know, like I said, performed. So let's not get tapped with it. But what I also want to touch on is, Thomas said, wait, hang on a second. Yeah, there's a public newspaper. What's the problem? On the point of covering out trails. Well, you're covering all trails ain't the thing, because it's in the paper. Full stop. 17th, not 19th. Well, I don't know, Pam, you're telling us something here. It's 17th, not 19th. I'm not sure. So you could ask them about the article that she wrote. I'm sure the nation would correct it and give you the accurate one. You know what is rat? Oh man, leave Mr. Ralph Thorne alone. You call him a rat. That wait, no, I don't know. Thorne is clever. Is saying it without saying it. Of course, I have something to hide. Well. But hold on though, it gets even better. It gets even better. Like I said, there's a few things I could have brought out here.
I was about...
But Honorable, it has nothing to do with owing anything. It is to comply with the requisite standing order. It is as simple as that.
Yes.
So you can move on, Honorable
Let
Member.
us move on, sir.
Do not let it distract you. Move on with your presentation.
No, all I'm doing, I am telling
And that will obviously be struck from the record. We know that.
Yes. So that what will be struck from the record is that reference to the Nation newspaper of June the 19th, 2024.
Honorable Member, you don't have to say that. I asked it to be struck from the record. So please do not repeat it.
Why are they so affrighted? Why are they so
Honorable, please
affrighted?
continue. Do not let,
I will continue,
don't
sir.
let members on this side stop you.
I will continue, sir.
Yeah, well, that's how that went down, family. Like I said, go get that copy, see what's going on, update yourself, update yourself, update yourself. You can't answer it any better. Now, why did I bring that up? Why did I make mention of that? I think we're at the point now, family, in Barbados, where we can recognize in this particular time frame, 2025, that all that glitter is not gold. And so, and by the way, this is not me promoting one party over another. Again, that is never my position. My position is we have some questions, and if you're willing to answer it, come on the program. Ms. Motley said she's open to ideas and she's open to questions. Well, come on the program. Mr. Thorne said he's willing to. Well, come on the program. Let's have a conversation. A different kind of conversation. They say they value every Barbadian. Well, when last I checked, I'm we from about here though. But there's certain platforms that they may or may not be comfortable. And I understand the level of uncomfortability sometimes. It might seem unpredictable, but that's what happens when you put yourself in that position as a public servant. Now, I want to touch on this right here. And I think this is very critical as well. So we're going to jump into this and let this young man say his piece. This is the part that becomes very profound when we look back at it, because a few things we would have shared and some things that we would not have shared. Let us not be misled. This is going to be interesting. Here we go.
But I didn't realize that he didn't understand what was happening on a whole lot of other things. Now, this honorable chamber was treated to a budget that I considered a human-centered presentation, a human-centered budget, a people-centered budget on Monday. I just want to mention a few things. A few things that the honorable member for Christchurch South refused to allow himself to connect with, preferring rather to throw dirt, which is a real issue for me, and also throwing around a lot of myths that have been busted, including the myth of the Barbados Labour Party being somehow in cahoots with the business community.
Now, this gentleman right here, this is why politics is a funny thing. It requires you to go into this space, this so-called house, almost as if this house is some kind of purgatory where you're allowed to, do and say whatever is necessary to win your way into heaven. Listen carefully to what he's about to say next.
Let me say something to you, Mr. Speaker. And I say this parenthetically because I didn't really plan to speak to this. We came here with a labor clauses concessions bill. A bill that was intended, it is now an act, but then a bill that was intended to say to the businesses of this country that if you are benefiting from concessions, you have to treat your people at a certain level. Do you know that the only contrary view expressed in this honorable chamber was from the honorable member for Christchurch South? And then to have the gall to say or to suggest that we are somehow in cahoots with the business community in this country. But let me say something, Mr. Speaker. In the budget presentation,
listen,
the matter of deposit insurance for credit unions,
listen,
I am not certain if we understand what this really means. I consider credit unions to be the people's organizations. Credit unions were born out of cooperative societies. Credit unions are where the ordinary people, and I don't necessarily like that term, but where regular people put their money. The budget presentation on Monday has now indicated that just like commercial banks, the credit unions, deposits in credit unions will be covered by deposit insurance. That is a people-centered approach to governance. That is what this Barbados Labour Party is about. Increasing the tax-free allowances for union dues, our commitment to freedom of association, not tyranny, our commitment to collective bargaining, our commitment not to tyranny, but to allowing workers to get together, to argue even against government, because unions have to negotiate government as well. Non-taxable allowances for meals for hotel workers, credits for discolored water. And let me say here, Mr. Speaker, to the residents of a part of Six Mains, I hear you, and I say to the Honourable Member for Christchurch East Central, it is not just St. Lucie and Boscobel, but there's a part of Six Mains that is also fed by the Allendale, the reservoir over there, the well. And so Six Mains, Mr. Speaker, through you to the Honourable Member, that has to be added.
Honourable Member, you need to wind up.
I will.
Yeah. Well, he made an attempt to address one of his own colleagues. They've been going back and forth for a while and other stuff, but, cut that short. But what he mentioned earlier about the insurance for credit unions. Remember a few years ago, we talked about that on this same platform. We talked about, people in Barbados trusting the credit unions, going in credit unions, putting their money in the credit unions. Well, the insurance that the banks were getting is as if the banks go belly up. For example, if the bank decides tomorrow that they're going to close, they're financially bankrupt. The bank, yes, believe it or not, they do it all the time. If you had X amount of money in the bank, if the bank closes because of the insurance that they have on the finances, you are entitled to get back, I believe it is 25% of your money based on the insurance. The credit union was actually a lot less. What they're saying now, basically, and again, if I'm incorrect, somebody correct me. Just inbox me, number on the screen, send me a WhatsApp or whatever, write a comment. But the reality is, here's the deal. They're saying now that we're going to give the credit unions in Barbados the same capacity for the insurance at 25%. So rather than you getting back, I think the credit union was like 10 or 12%, something like that, even worse than the banks. Imagine you got $100,000 in the bank, you got $1 million in the bank put down. Insurance, whatever, inheritance, whatever, $1 million in the bank. The bank goes belly up, closed down, out of business. The bank insurance give you back only 25% of that, which is $250,000 at the time. So you're losing basically three-quarters of your money. Credit unions was about 10%, which means you're only getting back about $100,000. Your $900,000 is gone. Gone. You don't get that back. That goes for everybody in the bank who has an account with the bank, or everybody who has an account with a credit union. So they're saying now, we're going to change that. We're going to allow you to get back 25%, which is weird, man. Like, to think that you give a bank your money, a deposit, to keep for you safely. Because after all, crime's so bad, you can't put it onto your house. The amount of interest they give you in most cases isn't even worth it. But nevertheless, you went to the bank. The bank closes down for whatever reason. And they're saying to you, have no fear. The insurance going to give you back a little 25%. Ask your bank family, whichever bank you go to, or go on their website, or next time you go to the bank, ask them, what is their insurance policy on your deposit? These are things you got to start asking questions on. Don't mind they go there and talk all this back and forth. Don't let them trick you, family. Pay attention to what they're doing, because understand what I'm saying. It does not make financial sense that you got $1 million in the bank go belly up for whatever reason, and they're telling you we could only give you back 25% based on the insurance we had. That is wild. Wild. You can't trust a system like that. That is just absolute madness. But that's the conversation that he was having, which I thought was interesting because, like he said, this is a people's budget. There's nothing people about losing your money and only getting back 25%. So I'm not sure what he been dealing with. Perhaps he been drinking the same water that's clouding his judgment there in St. Peter. And 6 men. He might be the 7th man because something ain't right. Mr. Jordan, something ain't right, man. Like what you saying ain't really making no sense at all. But again, family, these are the things that will continue to happen because we put, well, and I say we because, we're all in this together. We put our faith and trust in the politicians, right? The politicians. Well, that seems to be the thing for everybody to be discussing now. What's going on with the credit unions?
Because we are working on your behalf, Mr. Speaker. We are working on your behalf. So with this means replacement program, we have touched a number of districts, Mr. Speaker. Checker Hall, Content, Lamberts, Little Bay, Lowlands, Allendale, River Bay, Chance Hall, Crab Hill, Coconut Hall, Allendale, Colleton, Gimmets, the latest ones to be dealt with. We are about business, we are about working, we are about doing things on the behalf of the people. So when the Minister in the Ministry of Finance announced, Mr. Speaker, that we will be paying, the government will be assisting the people of St. Lucie in this situation, not caused by themselves, not caused by the government, but because of the neglect that visited itself upon the people. The farmers, Mr. Speaker, and they had the opportunity to serve in the Ministry of Agriculture. The farmers at Mount Poirier, the farmers at Spring Hall and Lease will now be the beneficiaries of access to water from BWA at $1 per cubic meter. We promised them that, Mr. Speaker, and we delivered. And I want to thank and congratulate the Honorable Member for St. Philip South. The leader of the opposition often talks about us as being self-congratulatory and all of that there. But he is jealous because there's nobody that congratulates him.
I don't know why only the farmers in the north getting water at $1, but these are questions that I have, just questions that I think people need to pay attention to. Why they get preferential treatment? I think all farmers in Barbados who are operating at that level or in any capacity as a farmer should have the same water rate. But again, these are just questions I have. How is this budget a people's budget with situations like this? There's a lot of, and I don't know, man. I don't know. But let me get to the meat of the matter. And this is the crux of it here, man, because let me touch on this briefly, man. Just briefly.
The honorable member of St. James South say, I think last week, we have to look at expanding the capacity for our vocational training facilities. Mr. Speaker, I have full confidence that this administration will be able to put in place all of these noble budgetary proposals which were revealed in this parliament 2 days ago. And the people of this country can have confidence that this is an administration which cares about them and which will do its best to make a better life for the people of this country. I thank you, sir.
I just think that sometimes these ministers, right, are there just people to prop up this system to make it look a certain way, because you really take the time to listen to most of them. It is just appalling at this point, completely. And I'm not suggesting by any, stretch of imagination that it is actually substance, because when they're speaking, my question is, who are they referring to? Who are they referring to? We have the misconception that it is the people of this nation, everybody included, regardless of social class. And I use that word on purpose because that's what it is. And so when we get into it, let me just put this one here real quick to show you what I'm talking about. Let me play this clip. Let me add this one to the screen. Hang on.
President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, James Clark, said the budget was one of resilience, which included financial and digital transformation, along with measures to improve the social fabric of the country. The BCCI official said the chamber supports the removal of the value-added tax on essential food items, the push towards climate resilience, and the initiatives for agriculture.
Chambers of Commerce, you would think that they would be a little more objective for the sake of the peoples. But here's another chamber. And this is the Chamber of Commerce. So let me ask you a question. Who are these commerce? Who are these individuals and where they come from? Because we assume that, because they do have a lot to say in what happens in Barbados from the private sector standpoint. That's why I'm telling you, family, all this is the plantocracy and how to run and manage the affairs of the colony, AKA the country, which you think is what we call Barbados, man.
Budget, in our opinion, is strong on foreign exchange generation and reserves. And since tourism is the single largest contributor to foreign exchange earnings, establishment of the Barbados Ocean and Coastal Authority to manage our coastal and ocean resources is critical to maintaining our beaches, not just for our own enjoyment, but as a tourism asset. Similarly, we applaud the vesting of lands into the Barbados Nature Conservancy Trust.
This thing about tourism, family, between this guy here, the chairman of the Commerce, and the minister who just basically the teleprompter economist, because that's who he is, the teleprompter economist. Let's be clear about this. He didn't work on that. He was given something to read. What I'm suggesting, family, is based on the condition of the international climate, meaning what's going on across the globe, we invested so much in tourism. There's wars and rumors of wars all over going on right now. Even a potential backyard incident as we speak. Why would we invest so heavily in tourism when in reality, in the matter of natural disaster or in case of wars, whether in America or otherwise, civil wars, whether otherwise, Europe, in terms of tariffs by Trump or whatever else, do we not see that for the next 4 years easily, once he stays in this position and continue the path he's continuing, it's going to disrupt the trade across the globe. Things are going to shift significantly. So the question is tourism the direction to go in 2025, considering all that's going on? Now, I'm not saying you can't get people come to your country and enjoy your thing, I'm simply saying we looking to expand and bring in more and more and more and more. I don't know. It just don't seem to make sense. COVID would have taught us that, if nothing else. That although we can't put all the eggs in one basket, diversify the market. It just makes sense. Why rely exclusively on something so unpredictable as tourism? In other words, you're going to sit and wait for somebody to come to your country to give you something. Here's a question. What if they don't come?
On government fiscal and debt management, we are pleased with the continued efforts to reduce debt and government's commitment to bringing the debt to GDP ratio below 100% this year and continue the trajectory to reach the 60% debt to GDP target within 10 years.
Head of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Dr. Tricia Tanis, said it was a nice all-round budget, but it lacked a strategy to reduce the cost of healthy foods.
As much as I support the thrust to reduce NCDs, and it is a must, and the government has to be congratulated for putting that in the crosshairs, I would like to see, though, an equal amount of strategy and emphasis on reducing the cost of healthy foods. Because when housewives or mothers, particularly in the vulnerable economic population, go into the supermarket,
That's right.
they are not making a nutritional choice. They are making an economic choice. And all of us as mothers have done it. You simply give that woman an impossible decision to make.
Lecturer in economics at the University of the West Indies, KF.
You got to thank her for making that point, though. And that's so valuable. I mean, again, that's how it can't be an all-rounded people's plan. You talk about putting more taxes on snacks. I get it. We get it. We get it. But the stuff that's actually healthy, y'all ain't reducing nothing and making it more accessible. It's madness, man. But listen.
Hill campus, Dr. Antonio Aline, said he supports the call for productivity, but a number of factors should be acknowledged. Foremost is supply chain challenges.
I think the approach taken by government, and I'm trying to be fair here, is their attempt to manage inflation. However, it is short-sighted, I must say, because if you look in the long term, as was noted in the same budget, most of our inflation is imported. But there's also a logistical element to it that's nobody's discussing that needs to be addressed.
That's right.
Our supply chain and logistics is an issue. So these things are issues that need to be dealt with in a matter of efficiency too as well. So if we can deal with these things, that would create, because we can't do anything about the imported inflation. However, we can manage our logistical systems and make it more efficient, therefore making it cheaper.
Minister of Educational Transfer.
Now, again, valid points. So let me let this education guy here say something, because I want you to listen carefully to what this, and you know what? Let me let him speak. Hang on.
Our logistical systems and make it more efficient, therefore making it cheaper.
Minister of Educational Transformation, Senator Chad Blackman, also supported the call for increased productivity and efficiency and said the measures will touch both government and the private sector.
It's really an all of society issue. And there's a deep cultural element that we're failing to really address. But I think if every sector, every business, every household now puts into their daily activities KPIs, where you now measure how you do business, productivity then will become part of the new culture.
The need for effective implementation of the various measures was also highlighted at the meeting. Trevor.
Yeah. All I'm going to tell you, right, family, is that it's obvious. Like he said, these are the people who make the decisions around here in terms of how this country runs as a business. That's why I'm saying to you, as much as we pay attention and we oppose certain things, we got to realize that we have no idea what is going on because we're not in these meetings. We're not in these rooms. They have their get-togethers, the private sector. Here the name is a private sector. So it's not all inclusive. So when they make decisions on what they decide is best for their private sector, if anything you benefit from is because it just happened that way. But it's not intended for you to benefit, period. The most benefit you will get is that they'll feed you enough to keep you on the farm working, on the plantation working, or in the job working, enough to get your bills paid, pay your transportation, take care of one, two little things, give you a little bit to give you a little edge, but not enough where you could build your own wealth and develop your own industry. You talk productivity, how, with what? They're not speaking to Barbadians as a whole. What the brother said, the average man. I don't know, again, these terms they use, the average man. What does that mean? Because there's a divide between Barbadians, who they consider Barbadians and who they consider Bajans. But, we're going to get there when we get there, man. Nobody should be paying a blind set for water. You can't bathe or drink in. Well, that's a reality. So they talk about giving back. My thing is, how far back they plan to give, because that problem has been going on for some time. And I'm telling you, the amount of lead that's probably in the bloodstream of the people in the north, the amount of illnesses, people who might have passed away because of who knows what. How are they checking this? Are they holding Water Authority accountable? Because don't forget, they say that is a PPP? Like, who owns Water Authority right now? Is the Barbados water, because the name Barbados doesn't mean it belongs to Barbados. We learned that from ICBL and a few other entities, including Republic Bank a few years back. But the question is, who is taking any accountability measures to hold them to what clearly is a crime, as far as I'm concerned, poison the people of the North? And let me tell you why that's happening in the North. Because they want the North. In order to develop the North, put an airport, some tall buildings and whatnot, we got to get rid of people from down that side. And the best way to do it is how? Get rid of the people from down that side. You know, we put too much past these people, man. How comes, let me start that, man. I wonder how long the water would last at Sandy Lane if it was brown. Imagine that. But you're going to tell me they have their own desalination plant, right? Hotel workers, aka dress up slavery. Yeah, slavery service wages low as snail trails. Good evening, greetings to you too, family. Yeah, this is what we got to deal with, though. This is what we're currently dealing with. All this kind of madness. And like I promised you earlier, there's a $3.6 billion mistake our prime servant made tonight in her presentation. And I don't know why nobody in her space and pull her tail to, kind of put that in perspective. So I, personally speaking, feel it is my fiduciary duty to alert Ms. Motley that she's made a serious error in her calculation. And if her presentation was based on that, then again, this is what I'm talking about. That means that all of what was said then is null and void. It don't add up. It don't add up at all. So let's see what she had to say about this. I want y'all to pay attention, man. He said that's why the elders used to put their money under their mattress. Yeah, right. The credit unions. I know. We got to find a better way to deal with ourselves, family. Like I said, the best way to deal with the situation is to follow the principles that are laid out in the Bible. We're supposed to be a Christian nation. God gave us instructions on what to do when the writing on the wall appears and it signals what needs to be done. So those who have eyes to see will see, and those who have ears to hear will hear. And dear friends, I declare the writing is on the wall. Clearly. Greetings to you too, family. Greetings to you too, family. Toymoy should be shamed tonight. She should be shamed. I don't know. They have no shame. They don't feel how we feel, Brent. They have the power that could take all. So he feel he giving you saying, yeah, they do feel they're giving us something. But guess what? Give the people every cent back, all instead of talking garbage. Listen, that's my position. There should be no water bill in the North, and for any person, any resident who have been affected by this in the last, this been going on now for at least, in fact, this been going on for, to my knowledge, a decade. I remember in 2015, or let me say 2016, be on the safer side. A young lady I met in Old Town, an officer actually, a police officer, believe it or not. Back then, we still advocating, still putting in work where we go, you know how it is. Said to me, what's your thoughts on the water issue in the North? And at first I was like, what are you talking about? When she started to tell me what she was experiencing and going through, I felt like, damn, imagine this, you working for the people as a police officer, putting your life, put everything on the risk out here. You can't even get the clean water. Said it was that way for a long time. Can't even wash your clothes. White clothes turning brown because of the rust content in the water. And so, again, this been going on. And so I agree, not a penny. Financial sense, minimum wage increase. Oh, wait, they announced it? Oh, wait a minute, 2% of $8 is 16 cents. It's 16 for an hour of work. Can't even buy a small fries by Shafat. Wait, hold on a minute. Did they announce the increase is 2%? Or are you making a point from before? Correct me if I'm wrong, man. What did they say 2%? Because I tell you, I don't. You can't. Nah, that ain't true. That is not. That's probably clear that up immediately. Clear that up, man. These people have to answer to God. That's right. God in the form of man on earth. That is a fact. Their time is coming. But let me have this conversation here with Ms. Motley at this point, family.
And to be ambitious. And what do I mean? If we can in this country, sir, and work with me, build 2,000 houses per year between the private and the public sector.
Okay. Between the private and the public sector, there's an ambition to build 2,000 houses a year. 2,000. I don't even have a online. Can somebody do the math me real quick? Do this math me real quick. Correct me here if I'm wrong, family. This is a big thing, you know. This is a major issue. That's why the brother Dugan was all against Mr. Thorne speaking the way he was speaking and so on and so forth, because it's a personal thing. There's a lot going on that we need to pay attention to. Listen to this real quick, family. Real quick.
Build 2,000 houses per year between the private and the public sector. On average of about $200,000, and I'm using a low average.
So that's 2,000 houses between the private and public sector, 2,000 houses a year at approximately $200,000, which is low. She probably wants to get it lower.
Because a lot of the houses that are being sold by the private sector are closer to 300 and 350 and 400. But the government is trying to maintain prices down as low as 150,000, and in some instances possibly even lower if we can. But if you build 2,000 houses at $200,000 a piece per year, this is speaking as $4 billion in activity in 1 year. $4 billion in economic activity.
$4 billion in economic activity. Now, this is where I think that one of her ministers who should be paying attention should slip a little note, pull a coattail, and say, wait. So let me just run that back real quick.
150,000, and in some instances possibly even lower if we can. But if you build 2,000 houses at $200,000.
So that's 2,000. That's so we clear. Just so we clear, family. Can somebody please do this math?
If you build 2,000 houses at $200,000 a piece per year, this is speaking as $4 billion in activity in 1 year. $4 billion in economic activity, which works out.
$4 billion in economic activity. Now, family, again, I got at a lot of things, man. Not everything, but a lot of things. Some things I'm even better at. But that's for private conversation. One of the things I'm good at is numbers. I love numbers. Like I love math. It's a universal language. Mathematics is anywhere in the world, anywhere in the universe, math is the same. Math is the language of the gods. I'm telling you. Man, somebody calculate that real quick to me. Something don't sound right there at all, Miss Motley. Now, I ain't got no problem being wrong. But I feel as though that
Somebody advising you wrong.
clearly.
They can't be your friends and your allies when they're advising you wrong.
Now, the reason I'm saying that because, and I ain't calculated yet. I ain't even looking at the calculator. It just don't sound right to me. So somebody please advise me on this. Please, I'm asking you. You know, let me go through this. The comments here. PricewaterhouseCoopers. Wow. You saw what's going on in the back there, right? I see that you see the background, the sponsorship. Once you understand who they're dealing with, it is the plantocracy. When they say private sector, that is called the plantocracy. All them folks you see right there on that panel, well, I shouldn't say that. Let me phrase that. Majority of the people you saw there in that panel and in the audience are descendants of slave owners. I said it, and I can prove it. I saw one minister there, I won't even say a word, who allowed me to know that his family were never ever enslaved. But wait a minute. Yeah, they was in the house or outside. Yeah, read between the lines, man. Straight up. I call it a hoax. Let me get around here. So to my knowledge, Miss Motley, if my math is correct, 2,000 times 200,000 should be 400 million. Not 4, but 400 million. If my math is correct, you carry the zero, you push the comma, and it should work out. You know, the caddy units, tens, hundred thousands, and so on and so forth. That's, you know, primary school stuff. But my point is, I honestly feel that that number should be 400 million, which means that there's a deficit, there's a difference of $3.6 billion in your calculation. So when you start to speak on this, like somebody should say, like, ain't nobody, somebody, if I'm incorrect, somebody correct me, man.
Oh, to just under 3% of GDP growth.
Well, it cannot be 3% of GDP growth if that's the case, Miss Motley, because something is wrong. The math in mathing, Miss Motley. I telling you, listen, you impress the world. The people like you. You got a little leverage. You know, the people, you got a little credibility to some degree. I don't know if you've seen it, how I've seen it, but they're probably looking at you like how they look at Sarah Bertram. I hope I didn't butcher her name. And up there in England, my point I want to make is that this right here is a serious thing, man. So when you get a chance, just do a little clarity thing and let's correct this, because you proceed to give a whole explanation of how this $4 billion is going to feed the nation. It can't be accurate, Miss Motley. Something ain't right.
Now, Mr. Speaker, go through it.
And you go as far as even asking the speaker to go through it. He ain't no different. You think he got a clue? Half time he looked like he tipsy on something. And I'm not being disrespectful, personally speaking. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Now, Mr. Speaker, go through it. Work out that the contractors can make at least 15%.
Now, hold on a minute. Mr. Dugan. Point of order, right? How about a point of correction? Where is Mr. Dugan at this point? Why does he not stand up and correct the prime servant from speaking this way and, you know, indicating to the people of Barbados that she clearly didn't do the research on this, clearly didn't write this part or calculated this part of her presentation, but was merely given this by somebody who thought it was a joke. Either they thought it was a joke, try to embarrass her, or they themselves is incompetent and need to go home.
Out of that $4 billion in 1 year, that's 600 million potentially in profit.
Wait, hold on a second. So it gets even worse. It gets even worse. Let me go back. Like, listen, I'm almost embarrassed at this point. And I'll tell you why. Because again, nobody in her cabinet, well, party or what they call it, I could be wrong. Nobody has said a word, and she continued on this path, this trajectory with this miscalculation, off by $3.6 billion. Man, listen carefully, family.
It's going to make at least 15% out of that $4 billion in 1 year. That's 600 million potentially in profit. The banks, they do better than everybody else because they're making not for that year, they're making for that year in 25 or 30. The banks and credit unions.
The banks and credit unions.
The lawyers work out the fees, even if you cap it, as Hope has tried to do rather than using the law fees, the minimum non-contentious legal fees. You cap it at $2,500 a piece. $2,500 times 2,000 is $5 million in legal fees from one part of the equation. But the lawyer is also working for two others because you have lawyer for purchaser, lawyer for vendor, lawyer for the mortgage. Mr. Speaker? So you're talking a minimum of $15 million in economic activity to the lawyers. Do you understand the point I'm making? Then we start to talk about the truckmen. Then we start to talk about the laborers and the carpenters and the masons. Then we start to talk about the steel benders. Then we start to talk about all of the people who got furnished the houses. Do you understand that that $4 billion in economic activity starts to mushroom by the time you now got to furnish the house and to do the other things? And Mr. Speaker, even though we have had issues and challenges with Hope, we have said we are not moving away from the objective because most things when they start have teething problems.
Well, I hope you realize that this mathing, that's the one thing I'm hoping for, man, because this is a whole wild goose chase at this point. I don't know why the people around you do and treat you this way, you might want to start looking closer to home, because you mean none of them may pick up on this. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let me see, man. Pam say, okay, a lot of tax optimization for the rich people. Okay, once we see what's going on, man, a domicile Ras, I don't want to even touch it, Pedro. Crazy. If out of touch were a person, households are struggling to keep the utilities or the food on the table. That is a key performance indicator to consider. I totally agree, man. I didn't get to the math yet. See somebody work it out for me. Sean, cool. Hey, Sean, with the math at? People does, wait, hold on. Don't do nothing for us. The people that does us any favors, this is insulting our intelligence, colonialism alive and well. In St. Lucie for years, they can't drink the water, even risk washing their white clothes. Really unfair. I totally agree, man. I keep saying that Toni Moore is a sellout. She does not represent the workers. People. Mia is very smart. That is why Mia drew everybody that is in dangerous threat under her. Well, you know what? We say that. The truth is, there are a lot of people in the private that work, the working class, what they call the working class people, who part of the same problem. They're the children too, or not far from. They're in the circle, they're in the union, they're in the order, and they keep things in their order accordingly. Is who out that get the most exploitation, because who in get the crumbs off the table. Think about it. You inside the house, you ain't complaining because you getting something in some form or fashion. It's those who outside that lamenting, because after all, we out here in the rain, the sun, the earth. We love it though. All I'm saying is, let us stop trying to see what they're doing in the house to benefit us. Simply go build our own and benefit ourselves. I've been saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. You know, if we could, the house want dousing, as far as I'm concerned. That ain't got nothing to do with us. What is happening here has nothing to do with the same people in Barbados that they're going to exploit to cover the bills, that the $4 billion that's on the record. They got a whole discussion on this $4 billion that's not even accurate. A whole conversation around it. Somebody got to go home, man. This ain't, look, man, public, private, and union. Fascism equals Mussolini defined it. For sure. She know to gamble. I know, let me get there. The DLP needs to stop playing politics with the people of Barbados. All talk, no action, promises are comforts to fools. I am right. Me, I do not care about the people, about the poor people of Barbados. And I don't even know if the poor people care about themselves, because at this point, I mean, this thing happening and nobody is saying a word. I saw that 2% wage increase over a year announced in the newspaper. Seeing as quoting from the newspaper is not allowed in this honorable house, I'm not sure if I should take the figures with a teaspoon of salt. Which paper did you see this in, by the way? Let me know. I think this is, let me know, man. Let me know for sure. It is crazy. It is crazy, man. Crazy. Yes, 400 million, not billion. Okay. You see, that's 400 million. All right, I get into it. I'm getting to it. Last year at this said event, she admitted not to be good at math or English. Okay. But we won't hold her accountable, but we will hold those who supply her accountable. That's 20,000 houses for $4 billion. 20,000. Well, they said they didn't. I don't think they said, Sean, I don't know if it was 20,000. I agree with you. They said 2,000. Do not go putting words in Miss Motley's mouth. Their mouth is never mouthing. Shout out to Empress, man. Straight up. Where these houses building, I don't know where. All the plantation land. Let me ask you all a question, by the way. Speaking of plantation and plantation land, a star above his head got he hypnotized, man. Let me ask a question here, family. Let me put it this way. Sugar industry in Barbados was one of the major forms of foreign exchange, I guess, at the time. And we did so good in sugar that we were doing great with sugar. Then we stopped. Well, it stopped. But the plantations were given a lot of government funding to buy equipment, do certain things, pay staff, doing things until the sugar, millions of dollars were given. When the sugar industry went belly up, what happened to the money that they would have owed, them debts, millions of dollars that was to be paid back? Did they ever pay back the government? To my knowledge, the answer is no. So what did the government of Barbados do? The administrators, they took the plantations. Although a lot of them were stolen, they took them. Where's Alex Mitchell? Shout to Alex Mitchell, by the way. They took them. Violet Beckles, Beatrice Henry. They took them. But lo and behold, did the government ever give them back the plantations? Like, whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to that? Here's a question. Did Draxall Plantation ever receive money from the government of this nation during the years of growing cane? And if so, was that money ever repaid? And if not, why does Draxall still own Draxall? I keep telling y'all people, we're going about this all wrong. We told the Constitution of Barbados, we don't have this, we don't have that. The reality is, look, let me put it this way, man. The Constitution is basically a contract. That's basically what it is. It's a contract between you and these foreign entities who arrive at your shore with ideas of investing. Well, we're willing to do this, willing to do that. These are the laws and bylaws, rules and regulations that govern the contract between you and them. Without a contract, they have no authority because you have not given them any. Because there's nothing to give. You don't have one. They can't take the old contract, take it, change stuff in it, and then give you back. It doesn't work like that. So again, these lawyers and people talking about Barbados, this and that, there's a plan to re-enslave Barbadians. Do not fall for it, people. And it isn't you they're looking at, it's your children and your children's children is where the focus is at. Straight up. Study it, family. Maybe they can't say a word. How could they can't say a word when she don't make that whole $3.6 billion mistake in the middle of Parliament and nobody can tell Miss Motley she wrong? Miss Motley, you're wrong. And that's not a good or bad thing. I ain't saying it in a good or bad way. I'm simply saying you're going to have to correct that somehow because the numbers you gave the country, the speaker, and everybody else is misleading. Not no fault of yours because like the brother said, you admitted that you would never get in math or English. But we understand that. We're not, nobody here judging your academic ability or lack thereof. The fact is that was inaccurate and we need you to correct that as soon as possible. Maybe in the paper, the nation would recognize it and perhaps give you a chance to correct the numbers. Minimum wage increase. Check your inbox for the receipt. 2% automatic annual increase in the national minimum wage for the 1st of January 2026. You're telling me that they increase the insult to the injury is that we're going to increase your minimum wage by 2%. Please tell me they did not do that. Please tell me they didn't do that. They didn't do that. Shout out to the Clark family, man. Greetings, greetings, greetings. 200,000 per house. She is an alpha in that gang. Who can correct her? You like making sport. Nah, Pedro, I'm making a sport. You kidding me? But I don't. Look, man. At this point, right, family? In fact, hold on. Let me go a little further, Pedro. Wait, hold on, Pedro. I ain't even done. Hold on, Pedro. Let me get to it, man. Hang on. Let me get to it. Let me let her put it in her own words, man. Hold on a second. Where we at?
Mr. Speaker, we indicated that to have growth, that we also felt that the monies which are aggregated in the credit union movement, that 25% of it should be allowed to participate in investments that hitherto they would not have been able to participate in, and that this is a platform for economic enfranchisement. Mr. Speaker, the credit unions belong to our people. We now have over 2.5 billion at the Barbados Labour Party under Tom Adams was the one who spurred the growth of the credit union movement back from the 1970s, Mr. Speaker.
So the credit unions got $2.5 billion, I guess, in assets they're sitting on. Barbadians, y'all listening to this here right now? They went from a few years ago having $1 billion to suddenly having $2.5 billion in assets. A lot of deposits going on. But wait, there's more. The government is now saying that they should be allowed to invest 25% of that, because before that, the credit unions were not allowed to invest. In fact, the credit unions had to give 100% of that money to the banks who invested it for them for a generous kickback and a hush-hush. Now she's saying, no. We want to be able to tap into 25% of that and invest on behalf so that the small man can build a little wealth for himself. Y'all listening to this thing here, man? Look, Barbadians, right? Let me say this. My people, I don't represent any particular party. Full stop. I'm not in favor of any particular party. Full stop. Shout out to Fade, by the way, and Barbados National Congress. That is what I'm about. That is what I represent. That is what I promote. And I'll say this to you right now. If you are not careful, my people, I am telling you, based on what I heard, this young man, the teleprompter economist, because that is all he is, a teleprompter economist. They plan outlined in that document is to enslave you, your children, and your children's children. 4 generations is what they're talking about. You think I joking? Pay attention. Nowhere in nothing that was ever said, they talk about empowering the people of this nation. They're talking about step by step, you could get there. That is the promise of hope. Like the pearly gates and the streets of gold. If you do right on Master Plantation, when you die, you're going to go to heaven. That's what that is, family.
With the tax incentives given then, Mr. Speaker, this minister, the member for Christchurch East Central, has been a strong defender of the credit union movement. And he has ensured that the same deposit insurance that we have to protect deposits in commercial banks by ordinary people will now be made available to the deposits in credit unions by ordinary Bajans.
I ain't even want to go further, man. Like, really. Be paying attention, man. Paying attention. Be paying attention. Looking to teach people. No, Monica. They done took it. You think the money not there? It been gone. They're only now informing you. So when you see it missing, you would know why. So you would know why. Wait, hold on. Jiga Thornton. Greetings. Not sure. KH. Not sure if that's a typo. But greetings, welcome to Politically Incorrect. Family, all I'm going to tell you, right, is that is the writing on the wall, man. The writing is on the wall. I got more here. Let me see, man. It's just, let me drop this one here next, man. Let me do this one here now. Let me do this.
Something on top of that because he don't care whether families really can afford to buy food or not. Minced meat, minced pork, minced turkey, Vienna sausages.
Miss Motley, I know you ain't no talk about no Vienna sausages. Mixed meat, mixed pork, mixed, okay, you know, damn. Vienna sausages, Miss Motley, you're going too far now. I come on this program, I take all the licks for you, because they claim I'm your yard fowl. Big line like myself, but that's all right. I'm telling you straightforward right now, you're going too far, man. Vienna sausages, Miss Motley, You talk about earlier, you mentioned about the 20% tax on salty snacks. Okay, well, I do get the idea why people, you might want that, because, you know, some people abuse certain things. We get it. But the salty snacks is not really the issue for the non-communicable diseases in Barbados. It might be a contributing factor. Do you know what the primary factor is? Everything you just said, man. Every single thing, especially them Vienna sausages, them luncheon meats, they mix this and they mix that. They contain a certain element in the ingredients. And I ain't even got a can here now to remember what it is. Sodium nitrate, and that's what it is. If I'm not correct, somebody correct me. That promotes cancer growth. Just to name one. And if I'm not correct, somebody correct me, but it's somewhere down, sodium nitrate. I think that's what it is, if I'm not mistaken. Go to the back of the can, Miss Motley, the fine print. I know 60 coming close, but you can still read it and you will see the head thing you're talking about. But guess what? Them is the cheap foods you're going to find the small man buying too, because they ain't buying no fancy, expensive meat that might be cured differently. Less preservatives. They buying that garbage. And that's what's causing the problems. So when you're talking about health, and in fact, let me let you finish.
Horlicks, I don't like Horlicks. If people ask about Milo, but I think Milo on the list already. So Horlicks is only an addition. Sega, lentil peas, split peas, pigeon peas, and black-eyed peas on the list already. So that, Mr. Speaker, we expanded the list of items to make it easier for every Bajan household, accessing protein from stew beef to the minced beef, to the minced pork, to the minced
You keep mentioning that mixed sport, you know, you better come off of that, you know.
turkey, to the lentil peas. And for those who talk about fresh fruit, Mr. Speaker, we said take off the duties.
No, don't take off the duties. Let me start growing, Miss Motley. You're going about this thing wrong. You're going about this thing wrong.
Somebody advising you wrong.
Straight. You're going about it all wrong. If you have the interest of the people at heart. Now, if you don't have the interest of the people at heart, well, by all means.
Of the Ortaniques and the not just the oranges that were
Ortaniques.
there before, the Ortaniques and the mandarins.
The mandarins.
The plums.
The plums. Listen, Miss Motley. Listen, Miss Motley. You're going about this all wrong, man. All wrong.
The grapes already have it off. The grapefruit already has it off. Mr. Speaker.
How Barbados created grapefruit and we importing grapefruit. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Done with that, man. I can't even do it, man. I try. I can't even do it. Family, it does not make any sense whatsoever. You cannot make this stuff up at all. Let me say this, man. Let me go to my other. I got like 2 other videos here to play. I don't even know what time it is. Let me wrap this up, man.
Speaker, the pineapples and the pears, not the Bajan pears, but the pears that you get from overseas, what they call it, the Bosch pears or whatever they call it.
I want too much posh food. Listen what's going on, Miss Motley. We got to stop it. This don't make no sense. This is why we're in the situation we're in right now. Giving water to farmers is one thing. Not even a drop in the bucket, no pun intended, when it comes to agriculture in Barbados and what needs to be done to build sustainability and longevity with regards to food security. Y'all can't be serious, man. Like people watching y'all, you know, I mean, seriously. See, what happened before is y'all never got these kind of commentaries because my thing is, I too have a response to the budget. I do have a budget reply myself. Very different to this whole thing. Because what's the point? What they're talking about, Barbados, is not for us. They're talking about what's for them. To the average Barbados, the average Bajan. I would like a politician to define what they mean when they say the average Bajan. What is meant by that? From a social point of view. Let me want these sociologists, and I'm the sociologists on here. What is meant by an average, well, Bajan? That's the term they use. I already told you who the Bajans are, right? Y'all better pay attention, man. Processed food is deadly. Import mixed meat. Are these cows vaccinated? Wow. Vienna sausages, mystery meat, plus they are salty. Look, somebody, if you got a can of Vienna sausages, go Google it. There's something called sodium nitrate. It's what they put in these as one of the preservatives. That is one of the leading causes of cancer. Leading. I mean, absolute upfront. When they say they have a lot of salt too. I like that. They have a lot of salt too. In fact, that's a good point. Look at the sodium content. Sodium nitrate. I mean, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Sodium nitrate. Okay, preservative in salted and canned meat cause cancer. Somebody put a link up somewhere. Educate the people, man, sis. I give thanks for that one. You got to teach the family, man. We got to teach each other. When we listen to these reports and they talking, it sound good. If you caught up in the numbers and the theatrics, it's even entertaining. But don't get caught up as a preservative. That's right, Sean. Teach the people, man. They talking, but it ain't adding up, family. It ain't adding up. The math is not mathing. But wait, I got a few more, man. I got another one, man. I don't want to go too heavy on this debate. I got some stuff I want to share. I'm almost tempted to play this guy. I'm almost reluctant to, but let me see. Hang on.
First, when we agreed as a cabinet to do it, you know what the first thing we did? We had a press conference. We held a press conference and we announced that we are going to be giving the Alliance to End Homelessness $500,000 as part of a partnership with the government to be able to deliver to the homeless persons in town, because many said during the course of the day, there was no place to go.
Now, let me see if we get this straight. We want to end homelessness. Right. I have a document here. Again, thanks to the Nation newspaper, by the way. I have a document here that has approximately, let me see if I get it correct. I don't want to quote your number wrong. 90, 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, 96. That has, listen to me carefully. I have a document here, and I'm going to show you, let me just put it up real quick so you can see the name on the top of it. If y'all can see the name on the top of it. It's a government notice, demolition of derelict buildings. Yeah? There are approximately 90, like I said, 96 houses on here. 96 houses, well, buildings. Let me use that word loosely because I haven't gone through every one. Some may be buildings, some might be commercial. I don't know. But there are 96 buildings on here to be demolished. Now, I don't know the condition of every single one, but I'm willing to bet you, that some of these buildings just might need a little roof, some windows, and some fresh paint. A little cleanup too. But you got a lot of people on the blocks that you said were working to debush the country. So let them come and clean the bush, clean out the garbage, dispose the garbage, fix these homes, and put them to good use. There are plenty of people in Barbados who are in need of homes, according to you, to the tune of 500,000, you say it was. So again, right, make it make sense.
So we held a press conference and we announced it. During the estimates last year, I said that we were going to do it for a year. And at the end of the year, we were going to do an audit of the finances as well as the operations and how impactful it was. A financial year runs from April 1st to March 31st.
Which is All Fool's Day, by the way.
31st. April 1st, 2024 was the beginning of the financial year. The financial year ends on March 31st, 2025. The financial year has not yet ended. So when the opposition leader gets here and says, oh, you say you can do it, or you do the other, he needs to realize, and I'm pretty sure that this is genuine, and I mean this decently, sir, this is genuine ignorance, that a financial year runs from April 1st to March 31st. Therefore, the financial year has not yet ended, Mr. Speaker, sir. So
now, this is one of those rare moments that I'm going to do this, right? To my friend that was there earlier that called me Miss Monty Yard Fowl, I'm going to come to Mr. Thorne's rescue at this point. Here's the deal, Mr. Humphrey. In order, which he's correct, by the way, in terms of the time span for the financial year. We all know this. But here's the thing. In order for that same ministry to apply for more money, in order for you to allocate additional funds back to that individual, you're not going to wait till the financial year is completed to then do an audit, to then decide how you're going to finance it again. You've already factored in the amount of money for that agency. But here's the thing. The agency who's spending the money isn't now still trying to figure out, well, we still got a few dollars left. What are we going to do? The money that they look that will basically be spent was already allocated. So in that allocation, they already have an idea of the audit of what they would have done. They would have had to audit themselves to know where the money went, to know so forth, to know how much they're going to need the following fiscal year. So the information that Mr. Thorne was asking you for should already been put together by the agency you gave the money to in the first place. They should have done their own internal audit and know where the money gone. So at best, you could provide Barbados with the information, but you know, like the what was it? The instrument with the school situation at Springer and countless other situations where y'all gonna get back to the people, like the Dodds Government Industrial School, the place in St. Peter, the young ladies. We didn't forget about all that. The investigation that they did, that they took the report and gave to the police. Why would they do an investigation and then give the police the report? Why did they give the police the report? Why? There were incidents of criminal activity. Never heard a word. So what I'm saying that to say, in fact, you weren't you involved in that, Mr. Weren't you involved in that? Come to think of it now. The reality is this, right? You talking and talking and talking, and Barbadians are not that set of people anymore. Y'all are the ones that sleeping, you know. Barbadians ain't sleeping. They fully know what's going on. See y'all a mile away, man. A mile away. So repeating that budget again, I don't want to even touch it. Even my children follow the budget, so even the children watching them. Serious. Serious. So I want local fruits. I don't know if the imported ones are GMO or sprayed with chemicals. They said, brethren, I'll educate you and our people. It's not what you practice. It's the agreements that a country should grow their foods to live off. It is this the norm is, hold on, food, okay, wait a minute. Countries should grow their foods to live off. It's this the norm. Your products are for exportment. I'll advise you and others to go and research that article. Now, brethren, I am really sure which article you're referring to, so you can always give me a little heads up again. Yeah, send me whichever it is you're referring to. Send me a heads up or send me a link to the article. I'll advise you to go and research that article. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but definitely let me know. The U.S. are oil rich, but it have to import oil. The U.S. is oil. The U.S. Okay, U.S. is oil rich, I guess, but it have to import oil. Well, maybe they stockpiling. I'm just saying. Just saying. I don't know. So again, you can bring some clarity to what you mean there, brother. People grow a little fool around with a house and get rid of all the flowers. I agree. Well, nah, keep the flowers, because you need the bees for the flowers, Colin. You need the bees for the flowers to help pollinate the food. So in between the flowers, you mean grow some food too. Dig up the concrete, if anything. That I agree. You got a chain link fence, put a little spinach on it, put some passion fruit on it. Plus it provides some degree of privacy too, you know what I mean? Can't go wrong. Raise some chickens for eating and layers. I agree. Do it on a community level, you're going clear. If Kimar ends homeless, he would need to find another job. I think he has another job. According to some people in parliament, although they ain't call no names, there's some people who yeah. Homeless people need putting up during the day. Don't smell right. I think that this idea of homelessness and people, what it is, right, family, is that people who find themselves in that position, who we consider homeless, in more situations that would deal with it. It could be a financial situation, but more often than not, I find it is a mental situation. We have a lot of people who have mental challenges and we're not addressing their mental health needs. And therefore, we label them as vagrants, all these other derogatory terms, and think that we're doing them some sort of justice by sticking them somewhere during the day or night to get them out of sight. When in reality, they may have some issues that were just overlooked and not addressed. I knew a family personally, I won't call their name, they had several children. And the children were taken and placed in one of those homes. And the mother and father would then wander the streets trying to survive. And I remember one night I ran into them. They were always together. I thought it was interesting. They were still a couple. They stayed together. And then I think the wife, but at one point, the husband, we spoke about this on the program, he got arrested for climbing the fence at Purity to go in the dumpster to steal the bread that they would have thrown away. Now, again, I am not advocating anybody to climb nobody's fence to go and take nothing. And so I understand the security guard was doing his job because you climb the fence, it might be on camera. I ain't trying to lose my job. You know, I got to report this to the police. But I didn't think it would have been the responsibility of the police to assess the situation and determine, well, look, hey, man, look, man, you know you shouldn't climb Purity fence. You're going to Pure dumpster to carry the bread. It's wrong. We understand that. But for me, you know, to arrest the man, you know, and then give him time for climbing in the dumpster and then sending you off to Dodds, is how you felt they could have helped him. Well, in his absence, his wife got ill. I think she passed away too. And his children were somehow abused in different forms of fashion. I think one was injured very severely. A lot of things happened. And eventually he came out. You can imagine when he came out, how he felt, right? So I'm just saying that a lot of things, man, we approaching these things wrong. These ministers, I don't know where, in fact, yeah, I do know where y'all come from. Y'all came from straight out the house, man. You lack the empathy that is required to deal with the people, and that's obvious in your delivery, how y'all even talk to people, how y'all even try to explain things, man. Y'all ain't really about the people. Y'all about the plantocracy. That is becoming more and more evident. The problem is that Mr. Thorne started his presentation by likening this administration to Rome and Caesar and Mark Antony and Brutus and his Roman philosophy. He spoke eloquently about the story of betrayal. I was intrigued and entertained. Although I could have think of many other stories with a more African theme, nevertheless, that might be his preference. But I will say this much, family. Let us not be like the original people in the garden and find ourselves being beguiled by these individuals who would have us to believe they have our best interests at heart, when it is evident in 2025 who they're working for. Be vigilant. Be very vigilant, especially in these times. Now, I didn't plan to touch this one, but it just clicked and it came on. I ain't gonna touch it. I'll just simply say that. See this political analyst, man? You see this political analyst? This particular political analyst, I don't know if he's getting paid to do this work or not, but if this is a paid job, they need to take this away, man. Like, yeah, they need to, I don't know, man. The amount of nonsense this man actually was on CBC talking about is a clear indication as to why he lives the lifestyle he lives. He is completely confused. Confused, I'm telling you. They do not empathize and cannot relate to the people that really matters in this country. The ones that they all claim they want to advocate for. Family, it is time that we start to govern ourselves. I ain't going to say it again and again. I'm going to tell you one last time. Get up, make it happen. Make it happen. That's all I'm going to say regarding that, man. Between a rock and a hard place, man. Between a hot and a hard place. Pedro, you dangerous. You dangerous. I ain't calling no names. But I saw this thing, man, and I tell myself, look, you see me? Family, we got to, look, all I'm saying, right? My people destroy for lack of knowledge, man. Like I said, the Constitution is a contract, man. We ain't got no contract. You know, they all going through motions right now. They hoping that you don't pay attention. They hoping you get caught up in the theatrical aspect of this thing. But on another note, real quick here, Pedro. Daffodil said that's hurtful. Yeah, man, it hurtful, Daffodil. I am gonna give you the real story, man. The details, man, with the children, the abuse. I think one of the children died too, if I'm not mistaken, as well. If I think it was dread, man. It was dread. We help who we can help, how we can help, but without the $500,000 resource check, we can only do but so much. But anyhow. On another note, this is equally important, and I just want to give you all a heads up on this right quick. I was sitting on this for a few days, but pay attention to this one, family. Real quick.
Now let's talk about the American breakfast. It has become costlier. The US is witnessing an egg shortage. Eggs have become harder to find. Their prices are skyrocketing. They have increased more than 65% in the last year, and market shelves, usually stacked with eggs, are going empty. Restaurants are increasing prices. People are stockpiling, stealing, and smuggling eggs, and also renting chickens.
Stockpiling, stealing, and renting chickens.
So can the US crack its egg problem? Here's a report.
Shelves empty, bakeries desperate, customers worried, and eggs hard to find. In the US, eggs have hit the headlines because their prices have shot through the roof. Egg prices have soared to new highs. They have surged more than 65% in the last year. The price for a dozen eggs has hit a record of $4.95. This is nearly double the price from the previous January and about $3 more than the cost 3 years ago. Of course, this is a nationwide average. A carton of eggs can easily cost $10 or more in many places.
Yo misma fui ayer a Publix.
Eggs are $20, meaning poor people can't buy eggs.
Es decir, que no, persona pobre no puede comprar huevo.
But even if you can afford them, finding eggs can be difficult in the country. Most American food markets are running out of eggs, so they are putting limits on how many cartons people can buy.
They're limiting the amount of eggs you can buy.
I've had to ask people to keep it to 2 dozen because I'm afraid some people have been coming in and buying all the eggs and then reselling them, which is not really fair to the other customers.
Meanwhile, people are running out of options. So customers are no longer putting their eggs in one basket. Instead, some are looking for alternatives like theft. This month, 100,000 eggs were stolen in Pennsylvania. They are worth about $40,000. Yes, an egg heist worth about 35 lakh Indian rupees. If this cracks you up, know that people are smuggling eggs as well. Since January, at least 90 people have been caught trafficking eggs from Mexico. For those who prefer the legal route, there are options as well.
The egg prices went up a lot. It is very expensive now. Maybe it's cheaper to buy chickens.
Yeah, in the last few weeks, we've noticed a dramatic increase in the demand for chickens because people are wanting to buy them because the egg prices have gone up or eggs just are not available. Our sales for poultry have doubled or maybe potentially tripled.
But if you're too chicken for long-term commitment, you can opt for chicken rentals. Several companies are offering the service, and people are renting the birds.
Our online inquiries have been filling up more than ever. People are very interested in being able to have backyard hens for fresh eggs, and they don't have to worry about if there are eggs at the store or not.
But problems still persist. Restaurants have been hit hard. Many of them have added egg surcharges to their menus. Bakeries are scrambling to find solutions, if not eggs. They are trimming portion sizes. But where some see a crisis, others find a marketing gimmick, like McDonald's. They want to offer a one-day promotion on their Egg McMuffin. The question remains, what is driving egg prices up in the United States? The main culprit is bird flu. Since the outbreak began in 2022, it has killed at least 166 million birds. This means fewer egg-laying hens, fewer eggs, more shortage, and higher prices. And relief isn't expected anytime soon. The government is looking at an additional 20% increase in egg prices this year. So they have come out with a $1 billion plan. This includes biosecurity upgrades at farms like truck washes, employee showers, sanitization of tires, and so on, plus investment in vaccines for poultry and imports. To solve
vaccines or poultry, all I can say, right? Remember a few weeks ago we played that when James Paul said that we got an egg shortage in Barbados as well, and we're looking to import eggs from America. Now tell me, we also played a clip from the Guyanese president, Ali, what's his name is, and he too said he's looking to import eggs from America. Question, what part of America want to plan to get these eggs from? Because America ain't got no eggs. So if y'all bringing in these eggs in the Caribbean and telling people you get them from America, somebody help me with this one. Seeing as how America don't have eggs, you claim you get them from America, where exactly are these eggs coming from? They might be imported from America, but all that means that the container was in the port. It does not mean, family, that the origin of these eggs is America. I would encourage you to start looking at alternate choices in your diet, and your liberty rather, in the choices of foods that you eat, because at this point, we don't know where what is coming from. Pay attention. And let me tell you why I say that, by the way. Let me show you why I say that. I'll even tell you. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. I like to think I can, oh, here you go. Let me show you why, real quick. Not a quick one. This is a quickie.
Let's see what the egg prices look like all around the world.
Folks, welcome to Ireland. A dozen large Irish eggs at €2.75.
Stop the cap.
Well, here in Panama, this is what a dozen jumbo eggs cost.
Hi, my name is Amber. I live in Paris. A dozen eggs that are free range and plein air is $2.88, which is about $3 US.
Oh, shapeless! I'm in Bangkok, Thailand. 10 eggs. It is 83 baht, which is $2.60.
Now, eggs in America is 10, 13, 14, 15 US dollars. And these folks around the world is showing you that equivalent to like $2 in US currency for eggs all over the rest of the world.
We definitely do not have an egg shortage.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for.
It's Kelly in Albania. Well, 10 eggs. It's 129 lek, which is about $1.34 American dollar.
$1.34 American dollars for a dozen of eggs.
But wait!
I'm Alison from Moving to Spain. Today I went into Barcelona. 12 large standard eggs are €2.48 or $2.60.
This is the way in. Like 43 pesos for 15.
Good one.
Hey, I stopped by Costco. The price of eggs in Merida, Yucatan, 78.9 pesos for 2 dozen free-range eggs, which is $3.89.
Sensational.
Eggs in Nayarit, which is just outside PB, are 60 pesos.
Yeah,
I'm going to share with you a little bit about what I purchased here in Turkey. The price just went up to 160 lira, which makes it about $1.82 a dozen. So much better than any eggs I've ever eaten in the States, maybe even the organic ones.
Couple things here to notice. All of their eggs were not sitting inside of coolers. And also notice that none of them said, we have a shortage, we have an avian flu.
Yeah, family, something ain't right. Imagine a dozen eggs for $2 US, even if it's $3, that's $6 Barbados dollars. You ain't getting a dozen eggs in Barbados for well, I don't even know how much a dozen eggs cost. I don't buy eggs, so I can't really speak on that. Maybe somebody could put in the comments how much it costs for a dozen eggs. Madness. Like I said, family, something ain't right. Something is not right. So I ain't know what to tell you. Anyhow, family, we've been on here for a little minute. Me up out of here right now. I wanted to share that information. Pay attention, family. Like I said, something ain't right. Something is not right. It just ain't adding up. You hear me? Ain't adding up. A lot of stuff going on around Barbados. A lot of stuff going on in the Caribbean. A lot of stuff going on around the world. Again, let us be vigilant, family. Let me see some comments really quick. Let me roll out of here. That would kill me, not the children. How do you rent chickens? Oh man, look, there's a startup business for you. This is no surprise. No eggs, shaking my head. I'm telling you, man. So where did the million of eggs that our green minister got for Bimshire come from? That was the question I was asking. Where the eggs came from? U.S. shortage of eggs, while Barbados importing eggs from the U.S. Something wrong. I'm telling you, Pedro. But the guy from Guyana said the same thing. He imported eggs from America. I got a feeling, right, that these eggs, something ain't right. Something ain't right, man. I don't know if these is artificial eggs, if these is I don't even know what to say, man. If these is fake eggs, I don't know, family. Something is not right, like I said. And again, we got to be able to call a spade a spade. We got to be able to call a spade a spade. I've seen enough videos to know that they have the ability to make these things, man. And so we can pretend we don't know. I keep telling y'all, it is the choices you make regarding the food you eat. The choices you make regarding the food you eat, man. So I don't know. Let me just do this one real quick here for you while we at it. Man. Where my people at? Not trafficking eggs, I hope. Love the eggs. Buns. Hey, I'm sure you would. Rationing the eggs because people are buying eggs to sell just the toilet paper joint. Same thing. The eggs are now back at $2 per dozen. This is in America. Let me know this is in America. And what part of America you from, my brother? They have it. Vaccines for poultry. Create the problem and give us the solution. Correct. Thailand currency is weaker than that US dollar. Okay, they said cockroach milk is the best milk. It's Pedro. You got the conscience though. You is this too much, man. I mean, I'm gonna let this run right out right here real quick, man. Y'all can just pick sense from nonsense, man. You know. Stop eating them products, man. Start thinking of other things to eat. I'm just saying, man. I don't know, man. Maybe this just maybe they're making Play-Doh eggs. I don't know. Maybe this is a kid's toy or something. I don't know, family. All I'm saying is that I've seen them making fake cashew nuts now. Google it. Fake cashew nuts. That's the world we living in, family. Capitalism. Force people do this kind of dumb, crazy stuff. I was buying eggs at 5 dozen for at 5 dozen for $5, but one weekend, as I reached the cashier, she told me one case cost $1, but the other 4 would be $10 per case. I replied, I'll take one case. You wait, hold on a minute. You telling me that you was buying eggs at 5 dozen for $5, but one weekend you reached the cashier and she said that one case is $1, but the other 4 would be $10. Something ain't right, man. Something ain't right. Something wrong with the eggs, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Lab eggs from China. Yes, Daffodil. Rest well. You too, family. It smell. I ain't Pedro. I ain't touching it. Night to you too, family. These must be Chinese eggs. I don't even know. But are they plastic eggs? I don't even know, family. All I'm saying, right, is like we don't need budget and health and jobs and hotels and all kind of stuff going on. Pay attention. You got money in the credit union? Trust me, there's a plan for it. They're coming for it. Unlike the credit, unlike the national insurance, once they take it and it go missing, they give you insurance on it. So what's the plan basically? Think about it. They said they want to access your money, but we're going to put an insurance on your money in case something go wrong. You can't read between the lines. Something is going to go wrong. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. We have to create our own credit union, family, with trusted individuals that are not tied to any bank, any financial organization, or the government have access to it. Man, look, shout out to Barbados National Congress again and again and again, all day, every day. Shout out to Black Lion Security as well, the people's choice. It's that kind of time, family. And we out of here, man. We've been on here for a while, 2 hours. Anyhow, give thanks for your time, energy, synergy. Is now after 12. Y'all, any y'all ever heard of the Art Bell show? Any y'all ever heard of the program called the Art Bell show? It used to be a radio program I would listen to when I was in America. I think it came on at night. Like, I can't remember, I think midnight. And it would have all kind of programs. Folks would stay up middle of the night just for that program. It was that kind of program. We might go do a night program for the night owls, man, because the nocturnal creatures, because I don't think the rest of folks, listen, I think they're sleeping. Somebody said, invest your money, buy land. I got to spend on that. Trust nothing at this point. It's serious. America could be buying eggs from third world countries to export. I mean, anything could happen, Sean. Anything, man. Anyhow, family, give thanks. Tell a friend and tell a friend. If you haven't done it already, like, subscribe, share, like the page, like the page, like the program. You like the program, click the like button. If you don't like it, like the other brother earlier, accused of being a yard foe, I just find it entertaining. I don't know why they don't call in. Just call in and we have a conversation, how you come to the conclusion. It'd be crazy. But I suppose it's easier to just do that and duck out, But anyhow, it's all good, man. At least you watch it for a few minutes. I still give thanks for the time you came on. It's all energy. But Demolition Homes, make sure you check this list and make sure that your home is not on this list, because there was a couple whose house was listed on this list for demolition and they were living in the house. I think y'all would have seen that in the newspaper. Just put that one up real quick. I'm gonna give you the link to that article. I have it here somewhere for those who might be interested. Imagine that you have a house, you live in this house, and they're telling you that your house is listed for demolition. Can't make this stuff up, man. Cannot make it up. And I got one more thing to tell you too while I'm at it. This young man right here, again, the newest member of the teleprompter crew, Mr. Teleprompter Minister himself, It's talking about giving some money to every individual who has the capacity to qualify themselves, had the legal status, and have paid national insurance in the last year will qualify for a solidarity allowance. Oh, by the way, our allowance of $300. I know. A one-off is a one-off. It's a one-off. Anybody who's over 18 years old. So they're trying to buy young votes. That's what that is. But they ain't calling it, they're not saying they're buying young votes. We're just going to give the young people who have paid national insurance. So if you haven't paid national insurance and whatnot, go quick, go register, put some money in, and we're going to send you $300 at an appointed time. We just want your information on record and your bank details. Listen, you cannot make this up at all. Can't make this up, man. Let me give you this article real quick as promised, and let me get it here, man. Let me get up out of here. Let me get up out of here. This is the couple right here. I'm going to give you the link to it on Facebook. Let me give you the Facebook page. Hang on a second. Let me give you all the Facebook page. This is the couple right here. LA couple shocked as residents listed for demolition. There's a whole article, family. Go read it. If you have somebody who owns a house, share the list. It was in the newspaper. Most of y'all might have seen it. What I'm going to try to do is I'll scan it or take a picture or two and I'll post it on the politically incorrect page so y'all could see what's going on, okay? That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Crazy. This house right here, I don't know what's wrong with the people, man. Somebody, it's either they're boycotting the administration or they're not competent to be even running a nation. And that's my final word for the night, man. Thanks again, family, for tuning in. Stick around. We're going to be here Friday night. The guest's supposed to come in. I got your message earlier too, brother. I'll call you in the morning. I was in the studio at the time, so I couldn't respond, but I'll link you first, like somebody said carrot and stick tactic to get the youth to register with the system. Once you know, look, man, Barbados is not a real place, family. Love you all. Have a great night and be at peace. Stay vigilant and stay focused. And to my special guest, it's that time now. I'll show you tomorrow. We're going to see. If not tomorrow, Friday night, we'll get you on here for sure next week. Looking forward to that. Can't even wait, though. That's going to be an interesting conversation. I ain't even saying a word. Yes. Anyhow, Miss Motley, go check your numbers and get that sorted out and see what's going on. Mr. Thorne, let him man speak to us for 10 hours, man. They set up. I have a note here. That says that nothing coming out of the house was ever good for the people. Nothing. Don't let them fool you, family. So at this point, I supposed to play a tune, right? By virtue of special requests. By virtue of special requests. I didn't even know. Look, you see me? I know a tune I gonna play. I know the tune I gonna play. Without question, I know I gonna play. Hang on. I would get rid of shirt, but I know y'all ain't gonna do that, man. Yep. Let me see if I get it. I'll give you all a message and a song, man. As usual. The message is in the sound. the sound, the message, and the music, man. And I don't see why this ain't coming up as always, but anyhow, it got to come up. I don't want this version of it, so I don't want this one either. I don't want this one either. I don't want this one either. I want this one right here. Okay. Wait, nope, nah, don't want this one. That's not the one I want. That's strange. I don't see why. I don't know why it's not coming up. All right, that's all right. I know where to find it though. Don't worry. I know exactly where to find it, man. I know where to find it when I need it, man. So this is why I'm pulling up right here. As always, I'm playing one of our national anthems. For those who are still here, as always. Y'all have a good night. Let me allow me to reintroduce myself. Now, I would ask y'all if y'all know that tune, but I don't think it makes sense because I'm sure y'all do, man. At least last
The race they fought us with it is for those who will endure till the end, till the end. Some try lead you astray. Seek wisdom from today, my friend.
Seek wisdom, family.
My friend, they're crying food shortage, and things are getting dread in the rain. Yeah, hey, hey. Don't let it get in your head. Man, don't only live by bread, but by the word. That's what he said. Put on your armor, trot along. Become a farmer, plant up all the land. Don't let time go to waste. Every day make a way. Grow food and garden. Plant cassava, green banana, mango, pawpaw, and sweet potato. Sourdough, turmeric, herb, ginger, moringa, corn and breadfruit, shadow, belly, arrowroot, veggie provisions, and all kind of fruit. May the work of your hands flourish and go far. May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper. And as the plants they grow, we grow in same way. New mercies, fresh every day, with time, sun, and rain, and energy. The plants they will thrive, and we shall reap the bounty. Don't be a slave to the system. Renew your mind daily. Plant cassava, green banana, mango, pawpaw, and sweet potato, sourdough, turmeric, herb, ginger, moringa, corn and breadfruit, shadow, belly, arrowroot, veggie provisions, and all kind of fruit. May the work of your hands flourish and go far. May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper. We want coconut water, beautiful sunflowers, hibiscus tea, and some thirsty leaves. Planted tomato, berries many colors, watermelon, sweet pepper, cherry, and guava.
The guava, man.
The guava, the guava. Plant cassava, green banana, mango, pawpaw, and sweet potato, sourdough, turmeric, herbs, ginger, moringa, corn and breadfruit, shadow, belly, arrowroot, veggie provisions, and all May the work of your hands flourish and go far. May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper.
By the sweat of the man, bro.
May the work of your hands be blessed and prosper.
$3.6 billion.